The incredible dishwasher revealed a hidden talent that left a millionaire chef in tears. In the heart of Chicago's South Side, amid the soundtrack of sizzling burgers and clanging silverware, Charlie found solace in the chaos of the diner he called home. The grease-stained walls were witnesses to countless stories, laughter echoing like a familiar melody in his ears. A dishwasher by day, he scrubbed plates with a softness that belied the grit of his life. Each dish clattered and clinked, an orchestra of memories that played in his mind: his mother's laugh, the savory scent of her chicken cacciatore wafting through their tiny kitchen, the warmth of family gathered around the table. But those days felt distant, shadows of happiness dimmed by the grief of losing her to cancer. As the diner slowly emptied each night, Charlie would steal quiet moments in the bustling kitchen, where he revisited the recipes his mother had passed down. He moved with purpose, chopping vegetables with precision, fingers dancing like they were conjuring magic. His heart raced with each simmering pot, every fragrant herb leveling up the nostalgia in his chest. Cooking was not just a passion, it was his way of honoring her memory, of wrapping himself in the love she'd infused into every meal. Tom, the diner's owner, was a grizzled war veteran with the weight of the world on his shoulders. He fought tooth and nail to keep the diner afloat, his spirit invigorated by the diverse community gathered there. Those familiar faces had become extended family, supporting Tom through thick and thin. But as income disparities grew wider, a sense of uncertainty hung over the diner like storm clouds. Then Sophia, the millionaire chef with the televised acclaim, announced a competition to unearth hidden culinary talent from struggling backgrounds. Charlie's co-workers, full of encouragement, urged him to enter. But doubt twined around him like ivy. Could a humble dishwasher really stand against chefs boasting gourmet training? Whispers of skepticism from colleagues, like jagged stones, threatened to weigh him down. Still, he contemplated the challenge, his heart beating with equal parts fear and excitement. As he ladled the sauce for his mother's chicken cacciatore one evening, rejuvenated by memories, he thought this could be his chance to let the world taste the love he put into every dish. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the contest kicked off, a fierce energy charged the kitchen. The tension sizzled in the air as Charlie's dishes began to sing. His meals were filled with whispers of his mother guiding his every move. Then, Sophia entered the diner to judge the contestants, a beacon in the hustle drawing in the hearts of everyone present. However, just as praise began to flow from Sophia's lips, the shadows of jealousy emerged. Competitors began to murmur, casting doubts on Charlie's talent. It was then that the storm hit. During a critical moment of judgment, accusations of sabotage thundered through the kitchen. Voices grew louder, fears intertwining like a tempest threatening to extinguish the flickering flame of his dreams. Caught in the eye of the hurricane, Charlie felt the weight of betrayal. Would the community standing outside the diner, filled with every soul who shared the taste of struggle, rally behind him? The clatter of pots and pans faded as silence enveloped his heart, questioning if the light he carried was strong enough to change everything. Would he find the courage to face the storm? The journey that could reshape his life, could it withstand the tide? As anticipation hung thick in the air, uncertainty turned into a question. Would Charlie rise above, or would the shadows of the past consume him? The accusations echoed around the bustling diner like a malicious whisper. Charlie stood frozen, his heart pounding. He could feel eyes peeling away the layers of his confidence, exposing raw nerves. The warmth of the kitchen, usually a safe haven, felt like an arena where the prize was not just his dream but his very dignity. Tom stepped in, fists clenched at his sides. His voice cut through the noise. "This isn't how we do things here." The way he stood, unwavering, instilled a flicker of hope in Charlie's heart. Everyone knew Tom's integrity. He was their anchor. But would it be enough to weather this storm? Sophia, visibly taken aback, raised a hand to quell the outburst. "Let us hear Charlie's side," she urged. The tension softened, feathers ruffled but not completely torn apart. Charlie blinked, momentarily shaken. He had never stood in the spotlight like this. "I didn't do anything." The words stumbled out, louder than he intended. He felt the heat of embarrassment creeping up his neck. Would anyone believe him? He scanned the faces around him, searching for support. There was Ray, the fry cook known for his bravado, nodding in silent solidarity. Daisy, the waitress who always smiled even on the hardest of days, flashed him a reassuring grin. They saw his struggles. They understood without him having to explain. "Show us your dish, Charlie." Someone called from the back, the encouragement wild and unrestrained, a lifeline thrown into troubled waters. With shaky hands he moved to the counter, where his carefully plated chicken cacciatore awaited, steaming and aromatic. He poured his heart into every swirl of the sauce, hoping it could speak louder than words. "This is my mother's recipe, it's what I learned from her." Sophia approached, peering down at the dish, skepticism flickering in her eyes. "The competition is steep. But what you present now for this moment can change everything." The salivating crowd leaned forward, eager to taste the dish that had the weight of his history behind it. Charlie felt a surge of courage. He could do this. He needed to honor his mother. As bites were taken, silence enveloped the room. Was it disbelief? Fear? Anticipation? Finally, a smattering of applause broke out. Sophia's expression shifted, her fork pausing mid-air. He noticed tears pooling in her eyes. Tears? Why? "Charlie," she breathed, her voice crackling with emotion. "This dish, it has heart. It delicately dances between nostalgia and flavor. This is more than just a meal, it's a memory you've chosen to share with us." Bow rose in Charlie's throat. Could this be real? But just as the excitement began to swell, the shadow of doubt loomed once more. What if it was enough? A chorus of doubters still whispered behind him, ready with accusations that could slice through the veneer of this moment. "I swear," Charlie called, voice shaking but resolute, "I'm here because I want to honor my mother's legacy. I didn't sabotage anyone. I'm just trying to stand up. Please let my food speak for me." The tension in the room ignited into gasps, and the murmurs transformed into questions, perceptions shifting like sand beneath their feet. Would they listen? Would they believe? As he stood, his heart racing, the minds of hundreds weighing on him, Charlie realized that this fight was not just about winning a competition. It was about staking his claim, defining his future. The crowd waited, breath held, as Sophia turned to the others, locking eyes with Charlie. "Let us talk it through, we need to hear every side before making a decision." In that moment, Charlie felt a knot unravel in his chest. His mother's spirit wrapped around him like an embrace, urging him forward. But little did he know, another challenge lay ahead, one that could shatter this fragile truce. What would happen when his past came knocking, uninvited, prompting secrets long buried to resurface? With the weight of anticipation hanging, Charlie prepared for what could be his greatest battle yet. Charlie's heart raced at the unfolding scene, a storm of emotion swirling inside him. The whispers still echoed, taunting in the back of his mind, but this time, he felt a flicker of defiance igniting within. The moment felt fragile, like a flower breaking through concrete, but he clung to the hope that maybe, just maybe, he could turn this around. Sophia stood between him and the murmuring crowd, her strong presence like a lighthouse guiding him through turbulent waters. "Let us hear everyone," she said firmly, her voice steady. "Charlie deserves that much." The diner, a familiar haunt of laughter and camaraderie, felt like a battleground now. Was it fear of being wrong? Was it jealousy? A few faces guiltlessly burned with skepticism. He saw it in the narrowed eyes and tight-lipped smiles. But there was also the flicker of curiosity, of community, knitting together the tapestry of his life. Tom, still by his side, took a deep breath. "We're all here because we love food, right? Let us celebrate that. Charlie is just as much a part of our family." His words sounded like armor, wrapping around Charlie, adding strength to his resolve. And just when it seemed the tension would strangle them all, a voice broke through the strife, a newcomer, just as lost in this whirlwind as he was. "Wait. I want to share something." It was Mia, the shy dishwasher, stepping out from behind the kitchen doors. She had never spoken much before. Her words were like hidden notes in a drawer, important, but often overlooked. All eyes fell on her, and Charlie felt that familiar pang of hope mixed with fear. What could she add to the conversation? "I've watched you all cook, especially you, Charlie," she continued, her eyes earnest, "and maybe this isn't about competition. Maybe it's about family. When my grandmother died, it was cooking that kept me going. Her flavors kept her alive in my mind." A hush fell over the room, the kind that drapes like a blanket, tightening everything in its grasp. "What's your point, Mia?" someone asked, the impatience evident. But she forged ahead undeterred. No one should be smeared. Charlie was brave enough to put his mother's spirit in front of us. Just like I put mine into my recipes. It's our connections to those we love that matter. A collective breath seemed to echo in the room. As Charlie turned to catch her eye, something welled up inside him. Was it pride? Relief? It was something profound, like finding a lost piece of himself in someone else's words. Sophia nodded, the tension in her shoulders easing slightly. "Mia, you're right. This is about legacy. Our ancestors hold the recipes, our joys, our sorrows. It's why we stand here together." Charlie felt the walls around him shift. What if this was just a trial of culinary prowess? What if it was a chance to heal? To share? To share stories of their heritage right alongside his chicken cacciatore. And then, in the silence, that fear crept back in, darker this time. If the kitchen was a sanctuary, was he ready to share so openly? Was it time for the truth behind his past to collide with the present he was trying to build? Charlie hesitated, but the warmth of the room wrapped around him, drawing strength from his crew behind him. The recognition flared up like fresh garlic sizzling in olive oil. "I want to honor another part of my mom's story today. It's not just the food, it's the spirit behind it." The crowd shifted, interest sparking. They leaned in closer, hanging on his every word, as if he was about to reveal a hidden treasure. As he drew a deep breath, ready to finally unearth the truth that had shackled him for too long, a loud crash echoed from the back. Dishes clattered to the floor, breaking the moment apart with shattering urgency. Charlie's heart dropped. What now? Would he lose everything just as he was finding his voice? Would the pieces of his mother's legacy, memories he held so dear, slip away as chaos erupted around him? The crash seemed to hang in the air like a bad omen, freezing the moment in time. Charlie's heart raced, confusion twisting like a knife in his gut. He turned to see a stack of plates, shattered into 100 glinting shards sprawled across the floor. For a heartbeat, it felt as if a curtain had been pulled away, exposing them all to vulnerability. Mia, the matronly dishwasher, stood frozen just an arm's length away from the wreckage, her face blanched and wide-eyed. The murmurs began again, doubts resurfacing, worry stitching the community together with threads of anxiety. "Oh no, Mia!" Charlie's voice broke the tension, pulling everyone back into the present. His priorities shifted. Maybe the moment he was about to seize could wait. Mia needed support now. He rushed over, the warmth of the crowd fading behind him like a dying flame. "It's all right. Just breathe," he said, crouching down to her level as she kneeled, trembling. He gently took her hands, grounding them both amidst the chaos. But Mia wasn't categorized by nerves. She was shaking, yes, but there was something else in her eyes now, a fire igniting deep within. "I didn't mean to," she swallowed hard, frustration painting her cheeks a shade of crimson. "I was just trying to cook along with everyone else. I wanted to help." The quiet that followed her confession hung heavy, as if a deep breath was needed to refill the room's energy. Charlie remembered something profound from when he used to cook alongside his mom. "Mia, remember what you said? It's not just about competing, it's about connecting. You are a part of this family." And at that moment, Charlie felt the power of his own words. He wasn't just speaking to Mia anymore. He was speaking to everyone gathered in that diner, drawing them closer, binding their hearts with a common thread. Suddenly, the old chef, Mr. Granger, emerged from the dining area, his frame like a fortress. "What's all this fuss?" he barked, his gruff voice commanding presence. Whispers subsided while curious heads turned, waiting for him to dissect the situation. "My fault!" Mia exclaimed, the words bursting out in one breath, an undeniable mix of shame and courage. "I wanted to help, but I'm not as strong as everyone else." But before she could retreat into her own shadow, Mr. Granger softened. "You've watched us all in here, and you've absorbed more than you realize. Step back from the plates for a second and think. You're capable of more than you know. Every step you take on this floor is your work, too. Have you ever thought about what you could create?" Her brows furrowed in contemplation, but suddenly, the light of understanding flickered in Mia's eyes. I thought I was meant to be in the background." "No more," Granger said, the timbre of his voice smooth yet powerful. The tone in the room shifted, everyone leaning in as if something transformative was about to occur. "What if," Charlie ventured, excitement bubbling forth. "What if we made this a team effort, a chance for every voice to be honored? Let us have a challenge, one that brings us all together." The crowd seemed to perk up, their faces changing from skepticism to intrigue. "What if each of us brought a dish that reflects our roots?" he suggested, eyes darting across those gathered. "Something that shows where we come from, the memories behind our food, the stories we can tell." This time Mia looked up, her confidence lifting with every pulse of encouragement, the fear replaced with curiosity. "I have a dish," she stammered, newfound hope coloring her cheeks. "A family recipe my grandmother gave me." As she began to describe it, Charlie felt something shift again in the crowded diner. This time, it wasn't just Charlie fighting battles alone. It was a collective, a chorus building towards something bigger. And just like that, the air in the diner buzzed with creativity, with echoes of laughter chasing away the previous fear. But as discussions began brewing, shared excitement ripe and raw, Charlie couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. Would the past haunt him still? Would revealing his mother's legacy mean unearthing deeper truths? His heart raced again, this time out of anticipation. As everyone prepared to dive into their culinary challenge, Charlie caught Sophia's gaze. Was she feeling the tension too? Could changing the narrative be what his family truly needed? The realization struck him there was one dish he had yet to reveal. "Wait, there's something I need to share." But before he could finish, a shadow lurked at the entrance, a figure familiar yet distant, poised to disrupt their journey once more. What would this sudden appearance mean for Charlie and the story he hoped to create? The door creaked open, and silence swept through the diner like a chilling draft. Charlie's breath caught in his throat as the figure stepped into the warm glow of the diner lights. It was his estranged older brother, Lucas, a familiar face now altered by time and distance. Lucas's presence sent shockwaves through Charlie. The weight of unspoken words and unresolved issues pressed down on him. Charlie had always imagined this moment, how they would greet each other after years apart, the script he'd rehearsed in his mind. But now, all that hung in the air was an uncomfortable tension, a question hanging over them both. "And Mom," Lucas stuttered, his voice barely a whisper, fixated on the challenge they had just brainstormed. The room felt smaller as eyes darted between the brothers, whispers igniting like wildfire. Charlie's heart pounded as he steadied himself, forcing a smile through the whirlwind of emotions crashing down. "Lucas, it's been a while," Charlie managed to say, the words heavy on his tongue. For a moment, Lucas seemed taken aback, his own emotions battling behind a poker face. "I heard about the cook-off. Mom would have wanted everyone to do this, wouldn't she?" Lucas finally said, and those simple words flooded Charlie with memories of their mother, her laughter, her fierce love for cooking, and the warmth that enveloped their family kitchen. "Yeah, she would," Charlie replied, heat rising within him. That sense of connection with Lucas, however tenuous, ignited a flicker of hope. Perhaps this cook-off was about more than just food, it might bridge gaps between their fractured lives. The gathered diners eyed them carefully, like spectators witnessing an unfolding drama. Charlie felt shades of anxiety and vulnerability flash across his brother's face, and just then, Mr. Granger stepped forward, his authoritative presence grounding them once more. "Someone needs to bring a family dish," then, Granger boomed, surveying the room. "Might as well add another cook to the roster." "I have an idea." Lucas's voice trembled, but there was conviction behind it. He stepped forward, fists clenched, visibly trying to assert himself. "I want to show you all what our mom taught us. What I learned in the time I spent away." A murmur rippled through the crowd, a mix of disbelief and anticipation. Charlie felt his heart race again, this time out of fear. What did Lucas bring back with him? Would it be some messy remnant of the life he had chosen to leave behind? "I just need a chance," Lucas continued, glancing at Charlie. There was an entreaty in his brown eyes, urging Charlie to remember their shared past, the chaos, the laughter, the sisterly bond their mother had intertwined in their lives through food. Charlie stood frozen, torn. Should he welcome Lucas back into the circle of creation they were fostering, or would it lead to more complications? Just then, as if the universe was answering his indecision, Mia chimed in, her soft voice cutting through the tension. "I think we should give him a chance." Her eyes sparkled with empathy, reminding Charlie of how they all stood together, just moments ago, united by the power of food, family, and warmth. "Let us make this about coming together, not apart." The sincerity in her voice helped calm Charlie's racing heart. In that split second, he felt the walls he had built around himself begin to crumble. They all needed this, he needed this. "Okay, Lucas," he finally said, allowing a vulnerable smile to break through. "Show us what you've got." As Lucas took a deep breath, ready to share his dish, the air crackled with potential. There was a weight of history in the room, yet a new beginning on the horizon, an unexpected reunion through the one thing that had always bound them, their mother's recipes. But just before Lucas could begin, a loud crash echoed from the kitchen, drowning out the moment. Everyone turned towards the source of the noise, confusion rippling through the crowd again. What fresh chaos was waiting to unfold now? The diner's mood shifted from anticipation to alarm as a glass pitcher shattered on the floor, sending shards skittering across the tiles. The noise hung in the air like a question mark, and for a brief moment, all eyes were glued to the kitchen door, the clatter of a spoon falling silent. With shaky hands, the cook from the kitchen stepped into view. It was Rosie, the diner's wildly devoted dishwasher, with flour streaked across her apron and her hair pulled messily into a bun. She looked disheveled, but it was the look in her eyes that drew the crowd's attention. "I'm so sorry." Rosie started, visibly flustered. She looked from one brother to the other, guilt turning her cheeks a rosy red. "I didn't mean to interrupt. I was trying to help, honest." Lucas's brows knitted together in confusion. "Help? With what?" He stepped towards her, the urgency in his voice replacing the initial ice that had hung over him. "I overheard the contest, and I thought you might need some extra hands," Rosie explained, eyes darting anxiously. "But I messed up. I wasn't ready, I swear I was just going to." "Rosie, it's okay. It's just a mistake," Charlie said, his heart softening for the frazzled woman. It reminded him of home chaos wrapped in comfort, the spills and laughter that accompanied every family meal. But as they spoke, something slipped from Rosie's grasp, a small, adorned box that hit the floor with a thud. All eyes shifted to the box as it slowly cracked open, revealing a tangle of vibrant, colorful recipes, some handwritten in ink that revealed the fading edges of love. I've been collecting family recipes too," Rosie admitted, her voice small yet brave. "From my granddad. He believed food brings people together. I just wanted to help people connect, like my family did." A new murmur rose from the diners, a shift in the atmosphere calibrated by Rosie's words. Lucas's eyes lit up, the tension melting off his shoulders. "You believe that too?" he asked, genuinely intrigued. "Yes." Rosie clasped her hands together as if seeking strength through her soul. "And I'd love to be part of this. To cook with both of you, to make something beautiful. I'll clean up later, I promise." Charlie watched his brother wrestle with a mix of emotions. Each flash of recognition felt like peeling back layers of their childhood. This was the moment they needed, another connection sending ripples through the tangled web of their hearts. "You've got guts, Rosie," Charlie said, feeling the unease around him shift once more. "I think we should bring you in. I can see how much this means to you." "Really?" She squinted, brow furrowing as uncertainty flickered in her eyes. "Yeah. Why not?" Lucas grinned at her, unable to hide the enthusiasm bubbling to the surface. "We can team up. If all our moms taught us the same thing, we should honor that, right?" A new energy sparked in the diner, a shared goal binding them together. Everyone began to buzz with excitement once more, the whispers now alive with possibilities. People were leaning in, drawn towards something bigger than just a cook-off. As they divided into teams, Rosie's contagious spirit transformed the room. Laughter filled the diner, voices blended into a chorus of encouragement, and for a moment, Charlie thought they might just find a way to heal their familial rifts. But then, just as they began sharing ideas, a figure emerged from the back, a tall man wearing a crisp white chef's jacket, and a gleaming medal adorned on his chest. He stood by the door with an air of authority, the outside world slipping in behind him like an unwelcome gust of wind. "Did I hear a cook-off?" His deep voice commanded attention, his eyes narrowing at the group. "Because, if I'm not mistaken, this isn't the right setup to impress anyone. What's going on here?" A collective shiver ran through the group. Charlie's heart raced. Who was this man, and what new challenge would he bring crashing into their fragile moments of connection? Silence enveloped the diner as the hefty man assessed the scene. Tension cracked in the air. Charlie could feel the weight of expectations urging them to prove their worth. His mind raced, grasping for a way to shift this moment away from discomfort, but as the chef stepped closer, he felt completely exposed. "I'm Chef Randall," he announced, unimpressed. He swept a hand across the room, his gaze locking on each participant in turn. "And if you're going to enter a cook-off, allow me to explain something. This isn't just about cooking. It's about heart. It's about professionalism. That messy scene?" He gestured at the spilled pitcher, the scattered recipes on the floor. "That one cut it." Rosie's face paled. The light that had flickered in her eyes began to dim under the weight of Randall's words. "I'm sorry, I thought," she managed, her voice trembling. She squeezed her hands together so hard that her knuckles turned white. Charlie's heart sank. This was not how they had envisioned coming together. "We get that it's serious," he interjected, frustration creeping into his voice. "But we also understand something deeper. Food means love, and we all want to make something that reflects that passion. It's about family." Randall raised an eyebrow but remained stoic. "Family is great, but in this industry, passion won't earn you a medal. You've got 2 hours. Show me what you've got." With that, he turned and strode toward the kitchen, leaving the brothers and Rosie staring at one another in disbelief. The counter was now their battleground, and they had little time to harness the energy swirling around them. "Let us regroup," Lucas said, quickly breaking into action. He reached for the nearest recipe from Rosie's hastily gathered collection. "We can use these. We have to focus." The words rang true, but an underlying heaviness lingered. As they organized themselves, tempers flared, voices rose, and dishes rattled abundantly around them. Charlie caught a glimpse of Rosie's eyes welling with unshed tears. He couldn't let this opportunity slip through their fingers, especially not because of one man's overbearing presence. "Rosie, what do you know about these recipes?" he asked, an ardor igniting within him. "What makes them special? I saw the love in your face when you opened that box." She hesitated but took a deep breath. "My granddad made each dish a story, bringing us together every Sunday. There's one here, it's a family stew. Everyone brings their twist. It's all about what you love. I know it by heart." "I love that." Lucas chimed in, and the three began to brainstorm, the initial dread receding as ideas sparked. The team soon fell into a rhythm, laughter landing between the frantic chopping of vegetables and the simmering pots. Randall watched from the sidelines, his expression inscrutable. But from the corner of his eye, Charlie caught a hint of something, a flicker of approval. He dared to hope. As the scents filled the air, The diner seemed to transform into a tapestry of memories, swirling flavors, and teasing anticipation. Each ingredient carried a piece of Rosie's family, a shared history laid bare in the warmth of the kitchen. Then suddenly, the door swung open again. In walked a group of well-dressed patrons, their laughter filled with the certainty of wealth and status. They paused, momentarily stunned by the chaos inside, a group of budding chefs feverishly working, the warmth of camaraderie nearly tangible. Charlie's stomach twisted with nerves. Their presence could either elevate or crush everything they'd worked for. Would Randall's authority become overwhelming once more? What will they think of us? Rosie whispered, panic creeping back into her toned-out eye. In that moment, under the mounting pressure, Charlie's heart began to race, and he wondered if this had been the plan all along. Could this chef challenge help them unearth what truly mattered? The moment of truth loomed ahead, and their fight wasn't just for the cook-off, it was to reclaim the very essence of their family. Would they succeed, or would the world outside the diner extinguish the fragile bonds forging within? The diner's atmosphere shifted. The laughter of the new guests clashed with the urgency of the kitchen. Charlie could feel all eyes on them, a swirl of curiosity and judgment. He exhaled deeply, letting the faint aroma of spices wash over him like a familiar hug. This was their moment to show what truly mattered, and there was no backing down now. "Focus up!" Lucas shouted, trying to cut through the din. "We need to channel that energy. Rosie, can you prep the vegetables for the stew? Charlie and I will tackle the broth." Charlie nodded, his resolve hardening. He moved with determination, grabbing pots and ingredients, recalling the way Rosie's granddad would guide them, his warmth blending with the scents in the air. They were warriors on an unexpected battlefield. As Rosie chopped with precision, her movements became more fluid. Memories of Sundays past flickered behind her closed eyes. With each hit of the knife, she felt the weight of generations guiding her. "I can make my granddad's secret spice blend too," she said, her spirit rekindled. "It'll make it pop." "Perfect. Let us have it be the heart of our stew," Charlie replied, a smile breaking through his tension. Each note of their shared history drew them closer, a greater force pushing them through the chaos. Just as they began to lose themselves in labor, Chef Randall's shadow loomed near the kitchen entrance. "What's happening over here?" he boomed, the same stone-faced authority re-entering the space like a storm cloud. They stilled. For a brief moment, the kitchen held its breath. "We're putting love into this stew," Rosie replied defiantly, her voice stronger than before, eyes shining with spirit. "It's a celebration of my family, just like it was every Sunday." "To win, you need more than words," Randall replied, his tone uncompromising. Yet there was a brief glimmer in his eyes, an intrigue sparked by Rosie's passion. "Can't we show you?" Charlie challenged, emotions bubbling up. "Every ingredient here means something to us. It's not just about winning, it's about heart." Randall tilted his head, and in that moment Charlie saw the chef's hard shell crack just a little. "Then let us see what you've got," he said softly, stepping back to observe the flicker of intrigue giving way to acceptance. The kitchen resumed its rhythm, the ham of Rosie's special blend dancing in the background while veggies sizzled, filling the space with warmth. As time dwindled, their concoction bubbled with flavor, a testament to their hard work and intertwined histories. Suddenly, the Millionaire guests began to murmur among themselves. "What is that aroma?" one of them exclaimed. "It smells incredible." All three beamed at one another, adrenaline flowing through their veins. Their meal was fragrant with memories and laughter, a dish infused with everything Rosie held dear. They were at the precipice of revealing a moment that could redefine not only their culinary journey but the legacy Rosie's granddad had left behind. Then, just as they were plating their final touches, the clatter of silverware broke their moment of triumph. One of the wealthy patrons, an older woman with striking silver hair, had dropped her fork in shock upon tasting the first morsel. "My goodness!" she gasped, her eyes widening. "I haven't tasted something this heartfelt in ages." Charlie turned to Lucas and Rosie, excitement and fear mixing in his chest. They were standing at the edge of something transformative. The stakes shifted. They weren't just a team, they were family. As the woman moistened her eyes and laughter mixed with her soft applause, Randall stepped closer, the lines on his face softened now. Maybe there's more to you all than I thought, he muttered, almost to himself. But before they could revel in this small victory, the door swung open again, this time with force. A figure stood silhouetted in the doorway, blocking out the light. "What's going on in here?" boomed a deep voice that sent a chill through the kitchen. Charlie felt dread pooling in his stomach. Who were they facing next? The figure in the doorway stepped forward. The light from the dining room caught the glint of a badge on their belt, a city inspector. The room felt like it froze in time. The unmistakable sound of utensils clinking together stopped as everyone turned their gaze toward the intruder. "What's going on here?" the inspector repeated, a stern look on their face, scanning the busy kitchen. Charlie's heart raced. The momentum they had built felt fragile, like a bubble about to burst. "Just a little creativity with a fresh stew," Lucas replied, trying to sound casual, but his voice had a tremor that betrayed his nerves. "Creativity?" The inspector raised an eyebrow, challenging them. "Are you running an unregistered kitchen here? I need to see proof of proper permits and health codes." Rosie's face paled. The fiery spirit that had burned so brightly while cooking was suddenly extinguished. "But we're just trying to show what we can do," she exclaimed, her voice shaking. "We're not here to break the rules." The inspector glanced around, taking in the intricate dance of pots and plates, the fragrant air thick with spices, and the palpable energy of their cooking. "Well, if you're here, you must have permission to be," the inspector said, though the skepticism lingered in their eyes. "But I'm not here to play favorites." "Wait, please." Rosie's voice sliced through the tension, deep with desperation. "This stew, it's a tradition for my family, something my granddad taught me. We want to honor that. It's not about the competition, it's about love." The inspector paused, shifting in their stance as if considering the heartfelt plea. Their eyes softened, almost betraying a hint of understanding. "Love doesn't always excuse the law," they said slowly, but the warmth in their voice suggested they weren't entirely against the impulse. Just then, the elderly woman from the dining room joined them, her silver hair shimmering like a halo. "Oh, please! You have to taste this," she interjected, stepping toward the inspector with an air of authority. "It's incredible! Like a warm hug on a chilly day." "What?" The inspector's incredulity was palpable. "I've tasted many dishes in my life," she continued, eyes glistening as she laid a gentle hand on the inspector's arm. "But this one, it has a story. It's not just food, it's care and history. Don't you want to be part of something that matters?" Charlie, Lucas, and Rosie could only watch as the inspector and the woman exchanged glances of understanding. The weight of tradition hung thick in the air. The inspector's resolve seemed to waver, if only for a moment. The urgency of regulations suddenly felt less vital than the power of connection. "Let me try," the inspector finally relented, curiosity pricking their professionalism. "What's the verdict in the kitchen before I make a decision?" As they all watched, Rosie ladled a fresh serving of stew into a bowl, steam curling up like whispers of long-lost family stories. She stepped forward, offering it to the inspector with trembling hands. The kitchen held its breath, the air electric with anticipation. The inspector took the bowl, their brows knitted in concentration. They lifted the spoon to their lips, took a taste, and closed their eyes. The silence was deafening as they savored those flavors. Suddenly, their eyes shot open, and they pulled the bowl away, looking stunned. This is exquisite. Where did you learn to cook like this?" But before Rosie could respond, a small voice piped up from behind a dishwasher from the corner with a smudge of flour on their cheek, stepping out of the shadows. "Actually, I taught her my special technique." The kitchen fell quiet again. The realization hit like a wave. Who was this seemingly inconsequential dishwasher, and what other surprises were about to unfold? As the unexpected voice emerged, the tension in the diner dissipated like fog in sunlight. Everyone turned to gaze at the young dishwasher, who stood shyly at the back, her apron dusted with flour and her cheeks slightly flushed. I'm Sophia, she said, brushing her hair back and stepping into the spotlight with determination. A family recipe isn't just handed down through generations, it's a collaboration. Charlie's heart swelled. Sophia's confidence lit a fire in his spirit. Exactly, he said, turning to the inspector, his voice gaining strength. This stew carries the weight of our histories, our mistakes, our joy, but it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be ours. The inspector looked around the bustling kitchen, eyes darting from one hopeful face to the next. Each person stood together, a mosaic of their homes, dreams, and passions, unfairly bound by expectations. It's not just about following regulations, Charlie continued, locking eyes with the inspector. It's about what this place means to us, a community striving to reclaim our family roots and share our stories. The inspector's expression softened slightly, unsure of what to make of the collective hopes swirling around them. So what you're saying is, they began cautiously, you all believe that food can unite people, despite the challenges. More than that, Lucas chimed in, the resolve lifting his voice. It can heal. My brother and I, well, it's complicated, but sharing these dishes could be a bridge for us. A chance to reconnect. An air of realization enveloped the inspector, a moment where vulnerability met truth. I see, they said, slowly nodding, absorbing the warmth of Charlie's words. But isn't there a part of you worried about the regulations? Charlie stepped forward, ready to embrace the challenge. Listen, if you allow us to showcase our dishes, maybe we can change how you see us. We'll show you food can evoke trust, loyalty, even love. A flicker of surprise crossed the inspector's face, but it slowly transformed into intrigue. All right, they replied, glancing over the bustling kitchen once again. Let us see what you've got this time, I'll observe. Time rushed back into motion, and the atmosphere filled with renewed determination. Let us put everything we have into these dishes, Rosie declared, rallying the crew. Excitement surged as they resumed their roles, chopping, stirring, and seasoning, each action more purposeful than the last. The elderly woman from the dining area and others drifted closer, drawn to the vibration of creativity and kinship. It's a vulnerable dance, isn't it? The woman mused thoughtfully as she observed them. Everyone learning from each other, trying to taste not just food, but essence. Together they splashed flavors into the bowls. Laughter filled the air like music. Rosie, Lucas, Charlie, and Sophia moved in unison, their love for food reflected in the flavors they combined, a family stew peppered with the spices of their truths. As they plated their masterpieces, the timer buzzed through the kitchen, and the moment of unveiling arrived. They gathered their dishes, a spirited collaborative effort, each bite encapsulating their stories. The inspector nodded, finally acknowledging the vibrancy before them. Let us serve this to the guests. The group buzzed as they plated the dishes and served the first bowls, the aroma filling every corner of the diner. This was it, their moment. As diners took their first bites, the powerful flavors told stories of lost moments, siblings found, and love crafted through food. Each spoonful drew soft gasps, joy mixed with nostalgia, tears of happiness sparkling in the eyes of patrons who reveled in the warmth of each dish. In a corner of the diner, even Chef Randall stood still, conflicts forgotten, his expression transforming. That's what I'm talking about, he finally exclaimed, eyes widening with reverence. That's food with heart. Around the remaining tables, laughter spilled from the patrons, fueled by camaraderie. Charlie felt lighter. He could already see that the once crackling connection with Lucas was beginning to mend, like fragile glass fusing back together, shaped by love, past mistakes, and an unexpected harvest of healing. Finally, in the midst of the celebration, the young dishwasher, Sophia, beamed with pride. We did it! She shouted, raising her bowl high. The room vibrated with cheering cheers for transformation, acceptance, and the spirit of family woven together through food's warmth. As guests began to applaud, Charlie searched for Lucas in the crowd. When he spotted him, Lucas's eyes glistened with unshed tears. Not just tears of joy, but tears of healing and shared experience, as their bond grew stronger, glowing like the simmering stew. And as the laughter rang through the diner, Charlie realized that this was more than just a competition. It was about finding strength in vulnerability, learning from one another, and celebrating what family meant. In that moment, Charlie understood, perhaps for the first time, that legacy wasn't just defined by his mother's recipes, but by the shared love that came with every dish and every heart laid bare. They weren't just cooks, they were family. The scene radiated warmth. It was like summer's first sun melting away the remnants of winter's chill. In the heart of that diner, Charlie finally found what he'd been searching for all along: a chance to heal, a sense of belonging, and a renewed commitment to carrying forward the legacy of love that his mother had built. If you take a moment with me, let this feeling settle in your heart. Now you know the power of sharing, of connecting. This is real. This is your moment to show your support. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss our next exclusive stories that inspire. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. It truly makes a difference for us. Comment below with your reactions and how this ending touched your heart. And please, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to spread the message of unity, love, and hope. Don't wait not even one more second to share.